So the first line in the Louisa May Alcott book, Little Women, begins, "Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents." Anybody remember that story? But we all can put our own caveats there. So just think how Christmas has changed over the course of our lives. I have one very early, I think the earliest memory I have of Christmas, I was either 4 or 5, and I can still see myself sitting on the floor, looking at the Christmas tree with the tinsel and seeing the trains go around in a circle. And I received this doll with red hair that Santa had bought me, and there was a box that came with her that I could put her clothes in, although I was not much of a player with dolls, but anyway, I got a doll. And then when I was 6, we moved to a different house in the same neighborhood, and I distinctly remember opening my presents and wanting to play with them, and my mother told me that I had to go to the 9 o'clock children's mass, which made me very upset. But then, you know, the years go by just really in a blur, like a home movie, and you just go from real to real to real. And I guess I can say this, everybody's of a certain age. There comes a time when you no longer believe in Santa, and the toy catalog loses its magical appeal for those of us who remember the Sears catalog. Comes a time when you no longer want toys as presents, although some adults do get toys for presents. When you no longer open presents with your family of origin, and you spend Christmas with a new loved one. You have your first Christmas as a married couple or in religious life. You have children of your own who believe in Santa, and with all the craziness of buying and then joyfully hiding the presents, and then seeing the children's happy faces on Christmas morning. And then those children stop believing in Santa, and then they move away with their families, and then they begin their own holiday traditions. And those are just things, as important and wonderful as they all are. Those are just things. And then there are the people. Christmas dinner with our grandparents who then are no longer with us. And then our parents who also are no longer with us. Then siblings, spouses, sometimes children, perhaps even grandchildren. And we change to meet all these changes in our lives. Perhaps our Christmas trees become very small or maybe even non-existent. Our decorations more sparse. We eat holiday meals with other members of the family or with friends or with people that we might have just met. The younger generation takes over. I am really happy to do that, to hand over my 40-person Christmas Eve dinner to somebody else. And then the holiday food changes. My family of origin had kielbasa and sauerkraut on Christmas Eve. And then when I met Larry and moved into his family tradition, we would have the 7 fishes. And now I'm back to kielbasa and sauerkraut, with, which is not my favorite, by the way, with my son's in-laws. But it's all wonderful because we're together. And presents, so dear to our heart, as at one time, Larry and who was it, Mayor? They were talking, Larry said on the way to church, he said, I just want to tell you I didn't buy you anything for Christmas. I said, what do I need for Christmas? Except for him, of course, and all of you in my family. But anyway, the presents become less important, even meaningless, as people just become more and more dear to our hearts. And I don't know about you, but watching the old familiar Christmas movies, A Christmas Carol, It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Story, or White Christmas. And we can take away really important messages from all of those films, like There's No Place Like Home, For the Holidays, or Ever, that all of us touch so many people throughout our lives that no one can ever be considered a failure. And thank God that no family is ever perfect if you watch The Christmas Story. And most importantly, perhaps, that all people, regardless of how old they might be, or how bad they might be, or how seemingly unredeemed they could be, those people are capable of transformation and redemption. But there are always a couple abiding factors as Christmas rolls around again and again, things that always make Christmas Christmas. Most Christmas observers always want their fellow human beings, especially children, to feel happy and loved during the Christmas season. And so many people go all out, lighting up their houses to provide joy to onlookers, or they give food and presents to those in need, or they're just really patient in line, waiting or driving, which is a miracle in itself. And through all the Christmases that we have experienced, there is always one abiding factor. Emmanuel, that is the love of God that we should always see, remains with us always, but so much more particularly during Christmastide. And so it is really good that we are all together on this afternoon of the most holy night of the year, when the angels do sing and the goodness and love of God tries again to break the chains of wealth and power that so often strangle the goodness in so many of our fellow human beings. And so, my friends, as we bask in Christmas past, present, and future, let us rejoice and be glad this day, secure, very secure in the knowledge that God does indeed love us, every single one of us, with a love that is pressed down and overflowing into all of our laps. Merry Christmas.